begin with, what is materialism? Materialism is a tendency to consider material possessions and physical comfort as more important than spiritual values. Furthermore, what is dopamine? Well, dopamine is an organic chemical substance made in the human body that transfers and releases to the brain that can function both as a hormone and a neurotransmitter, and which gives the feeling of happiness. There are many dangers to materialism. For example, highly materialistic people believe that owning and buying things are necessary to achieve important life goals, such as happiness and success. However, this can lead to unimportant desires which can cause an uproar in the need of having these materialistic products.
One way materialism and dopamine connect is always having the constant want to have and buy things because of the feeling of happiness it gives from the release of dopamine. One major example is shopping. The release of dopamine while shopping leads to materialism. By this I mean buying things help make people have more of a want to just buy things without actually needing them. There are ways to prevent the constant flow of dopamine, like separating your wants from your needs and setting priorities. Focus only on what you need and try not to be tempted. It also helps to have a budget and use that to help regulate what you buy and when. If you buy less, that will decrease the amount of dopamine released to the brain. Anticipation is also something that causes dopamine to be released. Anticipation is an emotion involving pleasure or anxiety and waiting for an expected event or situation.
Yo, how you been?
I've been good. How about you?
I've been good. I have a research that I've been doing with my group, and they said to ask a few questions to some experts like you.
Oh.
And some of the questions are, what are the biological and psychological causes of dopamine, and how does it relate to materialism?
I'll tell you right now. Well, you see, dopamine is released during pleasurable situations so that one can seek out what generated that certain satisfaction. Examples are the consumption of food, engaging in copulation, and drugs that are stimulants for dopamine release in the brain.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Many people turn to shopping as a way to abuse a release of dopamine without being fully aware. We live in an age where making transactions is a basic necessity for survival. So how can we as individuals avoid a mindset of materialism? As spending and shopping rises in society, the craving for dopamine and anticipation will become more present in people's lives. This is a progressive occurrence through recent centuries. According to the American Psychological Association, compared to 55 years ago, Americans own twice as many cars and consume twice as much as food per person. Yet it can be argued that the well-being of Americans has only declined. Young adults have a higher risk of experiencing depression and assorted social pathology. We can see an increase of mounting credit card debt, and people that lead materialistic lives experience less positive emotion today, in contrast to people that are recorded to have life satisfaction hold much less materialistic values.
So in conclusion, don't be a dummy for money.